Our spirit is something from elsewhere. Zishan, we'll take that later. Huh? Hassan, let people know. Yeah. We sit, inshallah, little bit. 5-10 minutes, because this is part of our way. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakeel. Tariqatuna as-suhbah fil khayri min jamiyat. This tariqat, it is based on association, on sohbat. If there is no sohbat, there is no Islam. Because this is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ was giving. Sohbat. From the sohbat, they became sahabis. They didn't become sahabis because they attend one university or they study too much or they learn too much. They were in the association of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This is not a class where I'm going to say, read this, do this, and then come here and we're going to talk about it. What you're supposed to do is read your heart. That's why you're going to come prepared. You're going to say, I read my heart and I see this. I can solve this problem. I cannot solve this. Now you are here. Now we're asking you. That's how you're going to make progress too. Your heart's not going to be dead when people tell you something and you're going to do something else, because this is a very delicate way. In the way of haqq, that's where batil is going to come to derail you. Batil, falsehood, is not going to come to people who are already following falsehood. They're not going to come from people already following shaitan and dunya. They're going to run to those who are in the way of haqq. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, teaching us to say, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us in the straight path, to the straight path, in the straight path, guide us. That's why Allah is saying, O believers, believe. We are already believers. Why we need to believe? Because things happen. Things happen to the Sahabis. Things happen to those ones who were praying behind him, eating from his hands. And then what happened? Their ego tricked them, and before you know it, they became the greatest enemies to the Prophet and to Islam. If it happened to them, you think it's not going to happen to us? So first, to understand your enemy, it is important. First, to understand your nafs, that is important. Because it is living inside of us, and we think it is our friend. To understand where the voices are coming from, that is key. Just because something speaks to your heart, what makes you so certain it's coming from Allah? Shaitan can penetrate up to several layers of your heart too. Your ego may touch your heart too. Shaitan may touch your heart also. What makes you so certain that it's coming from Allah? But if you are watching, looking, cleaning, following, then you know your heart will start working then. You don't have to study so much. This one is telling you something. He is looking, mashallah, wearing turban, looking like this, but he's saying your heart is moving. This cannot be true. You're looking at someone, he's looking like nothing, but he's saying some things and it's coming from haqq. Now, like they say in Turkish, don't look at the one who's saying, look to see who is making that one to say. Because we're living in this world, this is not paradise. We are not meant to come here and to live here and then to die here and that's it. We're meant to return back to our home. Our home is paradise. This is transition. This is not just transition. This is a punishment for us. We are in exile. We are separated from our beloved. We are separated from our home. Our home is Jannat. We are in separation. If you are separated from the one that you love, honey is going to taste like poison. Everything will have a wrong taste, a bad taste. Because your heart belongs to that one, is separated. When you are together, the hardest thing becomes the sweetest thing. How the Sahabi Kiram, the companions of the Prophet, For 23 years they were with the Prophet ﷺ through the most difficult times, because they had a taste, they had that ni'mat of Islam, and they had the sharaf of Iman. So even according to these worldly standards, they live a very hard, a very difficult life. A life that is not luxury, life that is not even happiness according to Ahli Dunya. But they had ni'mat, they had the pleasure of Islam from the Prophet ﷺ, and they have the sharaf of Iman, and they know this world is only 3 days. They pass, now they're in safety. Our aim is to prepare for that life. We live in this life. Don't concentrate on this life so much. Prepare for that life. Whether you believe or you don't believe, whether you're Jewish, Christian or Muslim, Hindu or Buddhist, when death comes, it comes to everyone. That is undeniable. It's undeniable. When death comes, knowing that death is going to come to us, as believers, what are we going to do? The remembrance of death, it is so important that the Prophet ﷺ is saying, those who remember death 40 times a day, if he dies that day, he dies as a martyr, completely clean, pure, going straight to paradise, because he is remembering where he comes from. The death is the doorway to the eternal life. He is remembering, I'm not here, I didn't come from, I came from somewhere else, I'm going to return to somewhere else. This is just passing, and this is not real. I want to return to the real. So the preparation of death, it is important because it balances you. Bruh, it is a part of our life. If you're not going to understand that part of your life, which is facing everyone, the death, then you're going to live your life filled with fear and filled with anxiety. Yeah. Because you think, like today, they're saying you're only entitled to happiness, to comfort, to everything that is appealing to your ego and your desire. Anything else, you say it is a punishment. No. Maybe that which is bad for you, it is actually good. Maybe that you think it is good for you, it is actually bad. Who is going to know this? We have prophets and we have the friends of Allah to teach us what it is. Why are we still thinking that we are left here alone with no one to help us, with no one to guide us? Allah sent 124,000 prophets. He sends us millions of the friends of Allah. He sends the Salihin. He gives us aql, intelligence. That just with the intelligence, man will understand where he's coming from and where he's going to. But the enemy to all of this, it is the pleasures of dunya. The enemy to all of this, it is your nafs, and it is the ego, it is the desire. You concentrate on those things, you're not going to use your aql so much. You're not. You're not going to be able to understand yourself so much. You're going to be stuck. And once you're stuck, it's very easy for those predators now to come and get you. The angel of death comes to you right now and say, your time is up. What are you going to do? We must think. This is a reality. It's visiting hundreds and thousands of people every single day. Why we're saying it's not going to reach to us? Those ones who pass, they have plans too. They have their schedules too. They have their dreams also. They are also thinking they're going to live forever. Nothing is going to touch. Death is a certainty. The one who is preparing for that is going to be very relaxed. You're going on a journey, you're prepared for that journey, you can relax. They say, why are you so relaxed? We're going. I say, I packed my bags already. Everything there, everything is there. I'm just waiting for someone to come and take me. That's it. You're going to be, that time you're going to live life. You're not preparing for that journey. Always you are scared because you're trying to deny it's never going to come, but you know it's a certainty. It's going to come. You're not preparing. You're not setting your affairs all in order. You still have this thing to finish. You still have the rights of this person to fulfill. You still have so many things that is still left here. You're not looking to the Creator. Then you're going to be in trouble. Where? We're going to face Qurban, Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha is about death. And Allah is commanding us now to take the knife and to cut the animal. There is a lesson there. Don't be like foolish Muslims of today. They're saying, well, that was for 1,000 years ago. We don't need to eat meat. I'm going to cut one broccoli. They're saying, I'm going to become vegetarian. This is very cruel. This is this and is that. You idiots. You think your Lord is not knowing? You're supposed to take the lesson from that. What is that? But if Muslims are not taking a lesson, yes, of course, then it's going to become just about that. Oh, Qurban is coming. It's about eating meat. More meat. Especially Bosnians who like to eat meat. They're going to say this time we're going to eat more meat. But it's not about that. Allah is saying, if you're doing everything for the sake of Allah, Allah is saying He's not in need of that blood and that flesh. And what are we doing with that blood and that flesh? Blood we throw away, that flesh we eat. Correct? But eating of that meat, the Qurban, it is for this flesh. It is not for our spirit. The spirit is more important. What are we learning from that Qurban? What are we learning from the spiritual aspect of that Qurban? That is what's going to give you more spirit. You don't need to eat more meat. But if you're not understanding what is that Qurban, what is that death that is there? Why is it necessary? What is it meaning? You miss the point. You're doing it, but you miss the whole secret of it. Not understanding that that animal there is representing you. It is representing your nafs. It is representing the certainty of death, and that the death that is most pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is when we return our life to Him. That is a sacrifice. He gives it to us, and we say, this doesn't belong to us, Ya Rabbi. You give it to us, we return it back to you. You give us our will. We are the only creatures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given will to. He is not giving to the animals or to the angels. And the prophets are teaching us, Allah is giving you the will. Now return it to Allah. Submit your will back to His will. That is Islam. That is submission. If you take that will and you're going to run with that will against the will of Allah, that is not Islam. Think. What is so important in our lives right now? Running around. Think, if we know we're going to die, what is going to be most important? You understand this, you will try to fix. You will try to fix, and you will understand those things that matter to you so much. Maybe the hurt and the damage that happens to you is not going to matter so much, because it's going to end, it's going to finish. It's not going to have an existence beyond that. You're going to be more happy. You'll be able to balance things. You're not just going to run. for what you think is running after this world, this dunya, and small things are not going to bother you so much. Because everything now is anchored, it's stable. Think. We have been created to think. Understand. Be with people of understanding. Be with the people of zikr. They'll make you to think, and they'll make you to come closer to your Lord. May Allah forgive me, inshallah, and bless you, and make us to wake up a little bit to what our reality is, why we have been created, the reason of our creation, to know Allah and to worship Him. May we live for that reason. May we die for that reason. May Allah bring back justice to this world and to take away darkness from this world, inshallah. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.